Welcome to this video on converting between metric units of measure. By the end of this video, you should be able to use the latter method in order to convert between metric units of measure. Alright, so previously we've discussed about what dimensional analysis is. It's a method to convert between different types of unit, for example, changing feet into miles. And to do this, you would use a ratio that equals 1. And we did that in our previous video about standard unit measures. Now, for the metric system, we're going to approach this a little bit differently because it's a lot easier to work with than the standard measures that we're used to working with all the time. And so we're going to have, it's a little bit of a cheat method, but we're going to use it because it works. Okay, so in all of our problems, there's a decimal, and we're going to have this system where we're going to look at these different kinds of measurements. And these measurements, I want you to know that the left-hand side measurements are big measurements, and the right-hand side measurements are small measurements. So this is a big measurement, this is a tiny measurement. Okay, so we're going to talk about what all of these measurements are. So the decimal is going to move the same number of jumps in the same direction. Okay, and so I will talk about that. So let's talk about what all these measures are. The capital K on the left hand here stands for kilo, and then it's a prefix. The word will come after it. Okay, the next one is hecto, and then there would be a word that comes after it. The next one is deca, D-E-K-A. And our middle one here is our base. And what I mean by base is we're going to talk about 3 different units here. We're going to talk about grams, meters, and liters. So our grams are weight, our meters are distance, and our liters are volume. So very similar to what we talked about with the standard measures, the things that we want to look at. So kilo, being a prefix, would be put in front of one of these depending on what we're talking about. So you've heard of a kilogram, a kilometer, or a kiloliter. Hectogram, hectometer, hectoliter. Decagram, decameter, decaliter. That's how they all work. So these are all the bigger measurements. Then we hit our base right in the middle, and then on the right hand side we have deci, that would be the prefix, centi is the prefix, or milli is a prefix. So millimeter, centimeter, decimeter. You've heard of a millipede. That's really talking about a bug with 1,000 legs, a centipede with 100. So that's kind of the base of what they represent. Now, to use this system, you might be thinking, gosh, that's a lot to remember. There's kind of a fun way to help you remember what all the measurements are. And they are: King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Not a terrible way to go. I do like chocolate milk. Okay, so that's just to help you remember what the letters are, so you can decide how far you're moving the decimal in each problem. So let's kind of look at what this looks like. So we have 5 meters. Now a meter, remember, is one of our base units. So we're talking about starting right here in the base section. And we want to go to kilometers, which is over here to the left. Now, what you don't see is it's not really just 5. There's a decimal right here. So converting between metric units is all about moving the decimal, because technically you're multiplying or dividing by numbers to move back and forth between the measurements. So if we are in meters and we want to go to kilometers, we're going to count how far do we need to go. 1, 2, 3 to the left. So I'm going to take that decimal from where it's originally starting, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and that's the new location of that decimal place. But look, we don't even have numbers here. What do we do with that? Anytime you run out of the numbers from the original problem, you'll fill in with zeros. Okay, so 5 meters is equal to 0.005 kilometers. Okay, let's try it again so you can kind of see how the process works. We're given 3 grams, okay, and we want to go to milligrams. So grams is a base unit, so you're right here in the base section, and milligrams is all the way here to the right. So we have to go 1, 2, 3 to the right. So I'm going to take my decimal and go 1, 2, 3 to the right, and we'll fill in with zeros. So 3 grams is the same as 3,000 milligrams. All right. Now, you tried this on your own and come back and see how you did. We're starting in meters. That's a base unit. And you're trying to go to centimeters. Count how far centimeters is to the base unit and then move your decimal accordingly. Try that now and come back. Okay, to make the jump from meters to centimeters, I went 1, 2 to the right, so I moved my decimal 1, 2 to the right and filled in with zeros. So 7 meters is the same as 700 centimeters. Okay, now milligrams, milli, is over here, 2 kilograms, all the way to the left. So let's leave a little bit of room here. I'm going to put 60 and the decimals right there. So we're starting here. Let's count to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then we got to go 4 more. 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the new location of the decimal. Fill that in with zeros. Let's rewrite it. So we have point, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, a 6, and you don't really have to put the other 0, but you can. So we were in milligrams, and now we are in kilograms. Okay. Try number 5 on your own, and we'll do number 6 all together. So we had to move our decimal 3 places to the right, and our new amount is 2,500 millimeters. MM is for millimeters. All right, one last one. It's a rectangle. Notice it has 2 different units of measure on the sides. So our question says, we have a rectangle that has length of 2 meters and a width of 40 centimeters. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? It doesn't say which unit to use. Usually it will say which unit. So let's just pick one. Let's pick centimeters. Okay, so this side's already in centimeters, so I'm going to call this side 40 centimeters because it's a rectangle. Now, how many centimeters is 2 meters? So we're going to go 2, and you know the decimal's right there. If we're in meters and we want to go to centimeters, that's 2 jumps to the right. So 1, 2. So there are 200 centimeters in 2 meters. So this is also going to be 200 centimeters up top. So we have 2 sides that are 200 plus 2 sides that are 40. 2 times 200 is 400 plus 2 times 40, which is 80. So we have 480, and our unit of measure was centimeter. All right, hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in class.